Jacquie, Capstick, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of some of the journey that I have been through over the past 3 years. So this is actually a life journey. Our little baby Kennedy, Sunrise, whom was very anxious to get into this world, she decided that she needed to come at just before 28 weeks, which is 3 months early. So after 9 days of labor, she decided to come out breech, which then turned into an emergency C-section, which turned into them having to pull her back through the birth canal and then through the C-section. So that unfortunately caused her to have troubles to start to get the breath, the oxygen, which then resulted in her having a disease called spastic diplegia, which I then learned was under the house of cerebral palsy. So you can have a totally healthy pregnancy, you can be whatever, but if that baby can't breathe right away, then there's damage happening in the brain, which is, you know, us poor women having babies, right? It's ridiculous. So it's been a really long, emotional, tough journey. But, you know, I signed up for it, and we have come through with such incredible gifts. And this little one is just wise beyond her years. And of course, just a ball of love. Everybody that meets her is like, oh my God, I just love her. But they think, and she has a connection with everybody. And so it's funny to hear people say, there's something about, I just really connect with her. And I'm like, yeah, because everybody does, not to take away from their connection with her. But she walks into a room and lights it up like the bright sunrise that she is. So the spastic diplegia is, what that was is the brain is telling the muscles, unfortunately we only got it in her legs. The brain is telling her muscles to stay contracted. So she couldn't like sit up, like, you know, little kids sit up straight, like super straight. And we always kind of look at that and admire that. And then as we slunch as we get older, well, she never had that. She couldn't sit up straight. She didn't have the length anywhere. And so we went through a lifetime of her, you know, not walking till after 2, and then walking on her tiptoes, and then going for Botox every 6 months. And then they would cast her for 2 weeks to lengthen and pull those muscles as long as they could. Braces and foot stuff in her shoes. And, you know I know I am so blessed because, you know, we only just had that. So I'm not complaining, because I know I'm very, very lucky and we are very grateful. But the journey of going through the emotions of, you know, you just want to heal her, and how am I going to do that? And for some reason inside, I knew there was a way. So back to intuition. I didn't know what, I didn't know why, I didn't know how, but I knew that she was going to, something was going to come for us. And okay, I might have had a little help with that, because my husband, just when he heard that, oh, I feel body parts, little feet are hanging out, he got this flash of this tall blonde girl running. He goes, oh, this is the weirdest thing. And I think that was to let us know, or to let him know, that she was going to be okay, that she was going to run, right? So anyways, thanks for that, because that message right there told me that she was, and that there was going to be something. So when she was about 11, she grew so fast. She got these like long, beautiful legs, but that poor little girl was in so much pain she couldn't stand up. She was in a crouched position, and unfortunately our hospital system, as great as it is, wasn't able to help us with it. They just wanted to do more surgeries, and every time she grew, They wanted to slice her legs open some more. And, you know, this poor little girl had already had enough at this point. And they were telling me, oh, just Advil and more surgeries. And that was, and, you know, go back home. And I'm like, so we kept going back, and nobody had anything to help us. And so my amazing husband found on the internet, I was looking and looking and looking, but he came across something, and it was this incredible surgeon in St. Louis called Dr. Park. And Dean sent this information. He says, have a look at this. What do you think? And when I watched the videos of the families and the children, they weren't full-blown cerebral palsy. They were like Kennedy. The ones that had full success, they were functioning. You know, yeah, some of them hadn't walked before or stood, but they were, you know, they don't do the children that are too spastic, because they can't do the rehab to then gain the access to be able to reconnect the brain to the new neural pathways that I'll just explain. The surgery is called selective dorsal rhizotomy, SDR for short. We do it in Vancouver Children's Hospital, but we were told that Kennedy wasn't a candidate, that they shamed us there in front of our daughter, telling us for an hour that if we did do this and go to St. Louis to Dr. Park, that we would be, you know, you're going to paralyze her. Why are you doing this? And she's going to be a wet noodle. And I had physiotherapists coming to my house at night, kind of very like trying to talk us out of it. But I watched the surgeries, the videos, I filled out the forms, I did all the medical diagnosis stuff, sent it all off. And you have to be approved, and it's not an easy process because they don't do everybody. But I think 4,000 families that have received their life back, you know what? I just knew. I don't know, when I watched it, I knew with every ounce of my being that this was it. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. And of course, everybody is scared for us. Everybody thinks that we're making a wrong decision. And yeah, because they're going into her spine. And what they did was they opened up the spine and they severed the nerves on the left side that were connected to the brain that were misfiring. They just severed them. And then opened up the right side and severed another 22 on that side that were misfiring. So very painful, what surgery isn't dangerous though, right? You're going in any time is dangerous, but she was ready. She knew, like when that doctor was saying that to her, she turned her wheelchair to the wall and her face was bright red and she was crying, and she thought that her life had been taken from her because we had found something that was going to actually give her her life back and get her out of pain. And she saw herself as being with the kids, and she never was able to keep up with the kids, right? Terry Fox friend, I would go and her sister would go, and you know, kids don't wait for her because they don't think about that. They're just thinking about getting around the bend, right? But for Kennedy, she was alone all the time. She was left, she was behind. She couldn't do it like them. And it was such a heartbreaking, over and over and over different situations, right? People looking at her, and like, you know, anyways, it's very interesting to have an experience of that side of life, because it is difficult and it's emotional and it's physically, like lifting her into the car and out of the car and in the bath and out of the bath and on the toilet, right? Anyways, I went to St. Louis for a month with Kennedy, and our whole family went for the first surgery. And then 2 weeks later, we did another surgery because they had left her so long that they needed to lengthen her hamstrings. Anyways, so I just wanted to say right now that she is long. She's as tall as I am. She's like almost 5'8", and she can touch her toes and she can run, and the first thing she said was when she laid on the bed on her tummy doing the physiotherapy, because she had to reconnect all of the brain back to find new neural pathways to get the body to function, right? So watching, you know, her leg kind of, they're pulling it, and then all of a sudden it would just like grab. It was like incredible, like just to see how incredible our body and brains are is just, anyways, very, very cool experience. And what a strong, determined little being she is, right? So she does Pilates, she does CrossFit, she does everything that she can to help herself, and she is determined, and she is just my bright light. So I'm really just wanting to share this story of the journey, and I need to share this story for families that are actually here, that we weren't told about this. This is not information that we have in Canada. I think that we might have changed things a bit because when the surgeon, the neurosurgeon, the head of children's told me, absolutely not. Absolutely not. She is not a candidate. Just shaming us. It was just awful. I said, okay, well, I've got the winning ticket right here. And Dr. Parks in St. Louis, who revolutionized this surgery, says that she's the perfect candidate. So I'm going to go spend the $100,000, which a lot of you donated to us, to her, excuse me. My sister set up a Fund Me page. And oh my God, I was having a very difficult time with that because, well, anybody, right? But my sister said, this is not for you. This is for Kennedy. Anyways, you know, people are good. People are really good. I mean, people can be shitty, but I think when chips are down, people are good. And anyways, I'm really grateful for everything that, you know, I've experienced, like the contrast and the clarity of how freaking lucky we really are and how blessed I have been. So many tough situations that I've seemed to put myself into, but the lessons and what comes out of and rising up out of that is always as powerful as how low you went, right? So if you're really face planted and then you do get yourself back up, boy, the other side of that contrast is the polarity of how shitty you felt. The confidence that you gain to just know that, oh my God, I get that. I get, and pick up the lessons and expand yourself. And anyways, so I just wanted to share that I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I do want to reach out and share Kennedy's story, just for families, because I got my life back. I mean, Kennedy got her life back. Her siblings. I mean, Kennedy took all of my attention most of the time because she needed it. I had to do these things for her. There was no choice. But the other ones that are, you know, like, hello, over here. And, you know, you understand for a while, right? But after a while, it just gets very tiring. So, you know, it's that journey, just that journey, besides anything else, was probably one of the biggest challenges I've ever been through in my life. I mean, we're still, you know, it's still with us and we still work on it. But I just want other families to know that if you know anybody who has this similar dis-ease in their body, that there is amazing things out there. Like, anyways, it's unfortunate that it's not in Canada and that the education and knowledge about what Dr. Parks is doing isn't being shared here, because having my life back from having to watch my baby struggle every day is like the biggest gift ever, right? So under the house is cerebral palsy. Spastic diplegia was what she had, and it's the contraction of the muscles. It's the brain telling the muscles to stay tight. And so, you know, running, all of that, nothing. She couldn't do any of that stuff, but she can now. And yeah, so that is just my thoughts of today that I wanted to share. And I'm not sure how I will go about kind of sharing Sarah or Kennedy's story, but I am going to somehow, because I would love to help other people who didn't come across the knowledge and information that I did. Okay, have a great day.